professional soap maker makes molten pour for the first time. Whoop. Whoa! Box. It says, remove. Sorry. It says remove, cut, hot, pour, and I didn't even remove it. Okay. No, oh my god. Bogies. These are cool, I like these. Are we done? Welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be making some melt and pour soap. This is a pre-made soap base and I have never, ever used melt and pour before. The only types that I've used are the Crystal OPC base by Stevenson's and the Jelly soap base. I have never made melt and pour soap in my life. So today we're going to figure out how to do it together, and then what I'll do is I'll come back and do a second part to this in the future when I've done some research, had some practice, and I'll show you how I've improved with my melt and pour technique. So I'm not even going to read the exterior at the moment. I'm just going to do what I would do if I was literally never looked at it before, because I haven't. Right, take the lid off. Right, so it's just a slab of like translucent looking soap. So I'm going to take a knife and just cut into it and see. Oh, that's a weird texture. I'm just going to try to cut this out like this. See if we can see what it looks like. Oh, it's quite a weird texture actually. Okay, so yeah, it's kind of like a hard jelly type of texture, quite translucent. Right, I'm going to put that in a jug, and because I know we have to melt it. So just check the lid, because I realised this is actually quite hard to cut while it's in here. And it says remove, cut, heat, and then pour. So I'm going to stop cutting it in the jug, in the pot, because it is quite hard to get the knife in there. And it's probably quite, a little bit easier to slit with the knife. So I'm going to take it out, then chop it up, and then we'll follow the steps after that. I have a chopping board. We're going to tip this out. Oh, okay, that was actually quite easy to get out. Okay, so now it's out, we're gonna follow the instructions that are on the lid. We're gonna chop it up. Oh, that's a lot easier. Why didn't I think of that before? Now, I don't know how big or small these pieces need to be, but I feel like the smaller it is, the quicker it's gonna melt. So I'm gonna chop this up fairly small. I'm not gonna do the whole thing. I'll just do half the thing for now, which is still quite a lot, but I wanna have a bit to work with. So I'm gonna put the rest of this back in the pot. I've only just got this out the box. But I would actually quite like to do some soaps in the future with a little bit of this embedded, because I don't know if you've ever watched any of the soap making videos, but what some makers do, obviously some people just use melt and pour, add colour and fragrance, and it's a soap. But what some soap makers will do is they will do a mix of our cold process soap method with melt and pour. And you can make some really cool designs. So I'm actually really glad we're testing this out today. Obviously right now, don't really know what I'm doing, but it'll be interesting to see how much I can learn over the next few weeks to months before I come back to you with how my progress is going. I've decided I'm going to add in a bit of fragrance and colour to this. Again, I haven't done any research about melt and pour. I have no idea the best way of doing this, but from my soap making knowledge so far, I feel like it might be better to melt it a little bit first before I add in the colour and add the fragrance at the end, because typically the fragrance kind of gets killed off if it gets too hot. So I'm going to add that in at the end. I'll add the colour in when it's actually a bit more liquidy, and let's just see what happens. So it's been in the microwave for about 45 seconds. It's a little bit hot, the bottom's melted a little bit, but it's still quite solid and in chunks. But I'm going to give it a little mix around, and then we'll put it back in. Okay, it's been in the microwave for a total of 2 minutes, so it's all fairly liquidy now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add in some colour, just a little sprinkle, because I feel like, because it's quite translucent, we don't need a lot. So just add a little bit of colour in. We're also going to film this, bear with, on my phone. I feel like a liquid colour might do better in this. I don't have liquid colours, liquid dissolvable colours. But this is kind of added like a little bit of like a shine to it. Well, it has mixed in, to be fair. Right, it's starting to thicken up now and the edges are getting a little bit gloopy. I don't know if you can see on the camera. So I'm gonna put this back in the microwave. So this isn't gonna be sold, so I'm not measuring how much fragrance is going in there, but I'm just gonna pop a little bit in, give it another stir. It's got a bit of a layer on the top. Oh, it smells so good. And because I've gone for like a citrusy sort of scent, I've got my citrusy moulds out. So let's just pour them in. So our soaps are ready to go, and I know this because I've been touching the top. They're not soft anymore and they're really a little tiny bit warm. I could wait a bit longer, but I'm a little bit impatient. So let's crack them open and see what they look like. Okay, these seem fairly easy to unmold actually. Let's see what it looks like when they come out of the mold. They smell incredible. I didn't realise these were actually set to begin with because they look so shiny. I thought they were still wet, but when you touch them, they are actually quite hard. So let's just see if this one wants to pop out. Sorry if there's any dogs around, sorry about that. That was a really high pitched whistle. But I don't know if you can see, but these, oh my God, they actually smell like, you know those like not cough medicine, the sweets you suck on when you've got a cold, like, Tori, come here. Tori's behind the camera, she's gonna pop on and give it a little smell. Oh, it smells like, I can't think of the word. It smells like lemon and honey strepsils. Yes, that's the one. Lemon and honey strepsils. Oh my gosh. It's a weird texture. It's kind of like, I don't think it's fully set, but like it's hard and, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like hard jelly. No, not jelly, not even jelly. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like if you had like a hard jelly soup. Yeah. So earlier in the video, I said to you that I'd explain why I don't use melt and pour soap and what the difference is between this and the stuff that we make. We use a traditional method of making soap called the cold process method, which is where you melt down fats such as oils and butters with lye, which is a mix of sodium hydroxide and water, and together it makes soap. And those are the only ingredients that we typically use unless you're going to add in botanicals or a fragrance or micas or colorants, etc, etc. Melt and pour soap is soap that has already been made and it's been made to be melted down and reused again. So on the surface, the main difference between melt and pour and cold process soap is that melt and pour, it won't really have a lather. It will bubble and it will wash your hands or your body or whatever, but it isn't really a thick lather. There isn't really any foam behind the bubbles. Whereas with cold process soap, you do get that. And there's obviously also a lot of benefits to using cold process soap because we have the oils and the butters, and each of them have their own benefits to help moisturize and hydrate your skin as well. Thanks for watching another video. We do currently post a video every Sunday at 2 p.m, so make sure you keep an eye out for the next one. If you haven't already, go and give us a follow on all the other platforms. We are very, very sociable on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat and Facebook as well, so make sure you give us a little follow. Check the description for all the details and see you next week.